right, guys, this is another episode of hopefully animals you've never heard of. Hopefully. So, Laura went 2 weeks ago and talked about her patooey bird, the poisonous bird. I am going to talk about, this animal is kind of cool. It's a lizard. I want to say it's kind of cool because there's not a lot of whole uniqueness about it, but you need to look it up because it is. I've never seen it or heard of it, but it is so
Dude.
freaking adorable. It's called the Armadillo Girdled Lizard. Please.
Oh, it sounds cute.
No, Google it. You have no idea.
The cutest lizard I've ever seen is a crocodile skink. I have yet to top it, but I'm looking this up. The armadillo. What? Armadillo what?
Girdled, Girdled.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have seen these. These are super cute.
They are really cute.
Are they related to a Euromastix?
I don't know. I would assume so, just because of how it looks.
Similar.
But for people wondering and have no idea what I'm talking about, it basically looks like the literal definition of a 3D printed dragon. Just
yes, a lot like the crocodile skink. It's even got the same kind of plates.
Yeah. To the point where I was like Googling stuff and I was like, yeah, no, right? I was like, is this all this freaking AI crap now? I had to look it up more. All right, so this lizard is native to South Africa, specifically along rocky desert-like areas on the western side of the country. And it's not spread out everywhere. You tend to find it in very specific habitats where there's, of course, a lot of rocks, a lot of crevices, and places to hide. Because if you look at the color of it, it's like I don't know, it looks like dirt, like
desert
the color of it. Yeah.
You'd be like, that is a desert lizard, or like a scrub lizard.
It clearly blends in. Scientifically, it's called the Ouroborus cataphractus. Close enough, which is...
Ouroborus is right. You're right on that one.
Oh, sweet. I was. Yeah, well, that means it comes from the idea of an animal biting on its own tail, which is exactly what...
the snake.
Yep. And that's exactly what this does. It's small. It's only around 6 to 8 inches long, but it's
so small.
It is so small, but it is way more intense than what something that size should be, just because of how armored it is and the bite and everything.
It's so spiky.
Yep, and it's covered in those thick overlapping scales that form almost an armor-like plating. They're not really smooth. They're sharp, rigid, and strictly built for defense, which whenever you're 6 to 8 inches long, that's in the desert, you have to be. So, but it really does look like...
It looks like if you tried to eat it, it would not feel good in your mouth.
At all. And it looks like a tiny dragon. Like, if somebody saw this out and about, I would be like, this has got to grow up to be a dragon.
Baby.
Yeah, this has got to be a baby dragon. So, again, like we were talking about, the thing that makes it stand out the most is the defense strategy. When it feels threatened, it doesn't run away. It grabs its own tail into its mouth. And everything I was reading says it curls into a tight ball. That is used very loosely because I did not see one picture of it curling into a tight ball. It's more like a donut.
Loose ball.
Yeah, it's a scaly donut.
If you wanted a lizard ring, this is for you.
Yeah, right? It's so freaking cute. But yeah, it definitely doesn't curl up into a tight ball at all. It's a donut. But once it does that, all of those armored spiky scales are facing outward. So instead of a soft-bodied animal on, the belly and everything that you could grab onto, you've basically turned yourself, or the good grief, the lizard's turned itself into a ball of spikes, essentially. And it's
one of caltrop.
Yeah, right? And it's...
How fast can it do it?
I didn't
pretty
look.
Fast?
I would assume so.
I would whip that tail into its mouth and curl up.
I would assume it would be quick. I wouldn't be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like normal lizard fast.
Whoosh,
I would assume not that quick. I mean, like an armadillo pace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're like freakishly fast.
They
all they gotta do is...
They are.
Like the tail in the mouth seems complicated, but maybe they just curl up and then eventually get it in its mouth.
That's what she said. But but you do see behaviors like this in like pill bugs, armadillos, but for a reptile, this is fairly unique. Like there's not a ton of other reptiles that curl up this way.
Especially not with its little tail in its mouth. It's so
tail
cute.
in its mouth. Yeah, right? So but that's not the only unique thing about this lizard. They actually live in colonies, which is also not something that you typically see a whole lot in reptiles. You'll find them in groups sharing the same rocky areas, which adds another layer of protection, more eyes, more awareness, more chances to avoid a threat before it gets too close. And then there's one more like one more little detail I'm going to go over that makes them a little different is that they give live birth. So as we know, most reptiles lay eggs. Yeah. But also,
I guess if they come out head first, it would be tolerable.
But I'm assuming too, like most babies, like the scales are like, you know what I mean?
Softer.
Like, yeah. Almost like how babies' bones are like soft, you know what I mean?
Or like horses' hooves, terrifying. If you want to look up something crazy.
Yep.
Newborn horse hooves.
So gross. So yeah, so unlike most reptile eggs, these guys retain the embryos and give birth to fully formed young lizards. So even the reproduction strategy is a little more specialized than what you would expect of it just being like a typical lizard. So again, this is one of those animals where everything about it is kind of built on survival in some place that you wouldn't expect there to be like a ton of predators all the time, but there's enough around there that it's everything it's done between the armor, the behavior, the social structure it has. It's not always like find that they said it's not the fastest one as far as running, so I'm guessing that's how it adapted to like curl up in a ball.
Right, it's got to do something else.
Yeah, instead of it being like, you know what, I'm going to be faster, it's like, you know what, let's just not. Let's just evolve. Yeah, let's just evolve to be spiky, and I'm just going to curl up. But yeah, but that might be one of the closest animals that I've ever seen to a real life dragon, and I'd never seen it before. That was so freaking cute. So that is my first one, the spiked donut. Alrighty, guys. So next week we'll do another long episode, and then we'll continue on with these mini episodes throughout the rest of the season. Go check us out on Patreon and support us if you can, and visit us on social media. And until next week.
Bye.